comic family, yo, this is the place to be as always. 8 o'clock on Coast to Coast Comics. If you don't know by now, man, what's wrong with you, man? Hit the notification bell on your phone, on your devices, and all that stuff, because you know why? Because I'm going to be there. My homie that's been there for 37 weeks strong. Jeffrey, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I am doing great. Thank you for being here for another episode. 37 weeks, huh, man? It doesn't seem like it's been that long. That's cool. That's very cool.
Yo, time flies by, man. Quick.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's been a pretty good year, though, so that's always good.
Yeah, it's a long journey, and we got a lot of things that's going to be happening throughout the year. But you know, we just been this journey, man. Coast to Coast Comics happens, and next thing you know, we're doing interviews. First, it was just talking about comics. Now we're doing interviews.
Well, yeah, and we've grown too. Like I consider, our boys Perry and Edwin, the comic jabroni. I mean, they're Coast to Coast family. They're not here right now, but so we've expanded from just the two of us. It's been good. Speaking of which, we got Perry Comics and the Comic Jabroni in the chat right now, along with Comic Fu 2814. He says, "Hey guys, what's up, Comic Fu? Our man, Old Wolf 65. What's going on?" Along with Tom. What's up, guys? Thank you for joining us. We have a very special guest with us today. You want to hear?
All right, guys. Here he is, man. The writer creator from. I gotta pull up my notes. But Cory, how about I let the people know about another day at the office? Cory is the man. Let them know.
Yeah, absolutely. How's everybody doing today? My name's Cory DLG, and I come from I live here in Spring, Texas. My background is I grew up with comic books, but my background is I've been in radio here for the last couple of years, and I've had the bug for a long time to be writing and creating. And so another day at the office is it's a comedy. It's a one shot. It's a story about a cop who lives in a city just full of superheroes, and so he believes in justice and law and order, and he's trying to do things. He's trying to do his job, but everywhere he turns around, there's another superhero kind of like ruining his day, sort of. And so it has fun with the whole concept and kind of looks at it from a different angle. And it's a really easy one shot to just kind of jump in and enjoy. It's 22 pages of funny. That's how I'm looking at it. It's right there on INDYPLANET. I think the link is right there for you guys to check it out. And yeah, man, it's a fun little way to look at superheroes and kind of how they would interact with the world.
Yeah, for sure, man. And it is pretty cool because just a regular dude, man, just hanging out in the office and
well, not just a regular dude. He was a cop, like a detective. Was he a detective?
He's a detective, and so he wants to be able to go out there and help people, but yeah, as a regular, like a non-powered person.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Sorry, no superpowers. He was just a cop, and basically, it's a different. Usually, we get the perspective of the superhero, but this would be basically the perspective of a cop having to deal with the superheroes in his city. Like they were saying, his work has gone down. He doesn't have as much work because the superheroes are taking care of his work. And then when he does have work, it's because the superheroes are breaking buildings and causing destruction and things like that. So, yeah, it's definitely a different perspective. I like the detective aspect of it. It was.
Thank you. It was fun to make. It was kind of an interesting opportunity. When I first, I'm 36 years old. When I first got out of high school, I knew right away what I was like, I'm going to be a writer. I'm going to write. And so for about 3 years, I chased it really, 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 really hard. And that culminated with me getting some opportunities with some small publishers, and nothing ever really kind of came from that. But this is one of those pitches, and I could never let it go. So like every couple of years, I'd come back to it, and I'd expand on it, and I'd tweak it, and I'd change the script a little bit and mess with it some. And so about 2 years ago, the radio thing started going, and it's kind of been a lot of fun, but it's gotten us a little bit of exposure. And we do pop culture. It's called Nerd Thug Radio. And so when people, started to kind of get the opportunity to get to know us, they want us to do more different things. And this was something I was like, you know what, I really want to get back to this because I love comic books. Like I I at one point actually owned my own comic shop in a flea market for about 8 months. Like I'm all about comic books.
Nice.
So how many comic books are in your collection right now? Now,
Well,
now
okay.
that you mention it, so I just
So now I'm lame. I've got like maybe 30 floppies to my name now. But what I had was I had been collecting for like almost basically my whole life. I had an older cousin who was into them before me, so from the moment I could read and get into them, I had comic books in my hands always. You know, the cartoons came out when we were kids, so like there was never a time when I could get away from superheroes. I was always all about it. And so what basically wound up happening is when I started my shop, I had about 6,000 books, and I made that like my inventory. And so I started out, and I had that was my starting inventory. I put together a bunch of runs and collections, and then I put together like loose things or things that weren't in great shape. That was like my quarter bin. I put all my trades. I probably had 150, 200 trades. That was my starting out, like my used trade section. I was committed. Like I was in. And I was like, I'm going to do comics for the rest of my life. I'm going to have a store. I'm going to do things. I was like, oh, I'll do like a year or two in a flea market and get out of there. I was in kind of a bad spot, and the flea market actually closed a month after my shop did. So I know I was at least, it wasn't necessarily just me doing a bad job, but it was called Spogomics, and we lasted about 6 to 8 months, somewhere right in that range. And then I went ahead and sold my inventory to kind of get out from underneath the mess I had made myself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun though. I mean, listen, it's a small business is always work, but I've always been like a small business guy, and so it is what it is. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
I mean, at least you was able to do that, and you
Right,
was
absolutely.
like, you know what? I got the stuff to do it. I want to do it, and that's it. If it works or flops, whatever you want to call it, but well, you learn, you grow, and next thing you know, here you are doing your own.
Yeah, this is
content, man.
I can never get away from it. Like every time I turn around, I'm always like, man, comic books, and I always want to come back to them, and I love it. So like, yeah, you're right. It started out as a shop, but even before that, I was a reader. Before that, and after that, I went to write, and then it's a shop, and now I've got my own comic. Even on the radio show, we talk about it. Like I talk about House of X, Powers of 10, probably at least twice a month right now. Like I'm in love with it.
Nice. Hey, just real quick, the link to this book, Another Day at the Office, is in the description. I just posted it in the chat, so if you guys are looking for it. And we also got some new people in the chat. We got Robert, the comic book G-Spot Galvin. Good to see you, Robert. Hope you're having a good day. Mastodon Comics and Collecting, thank you for joining us. We got our buddy Comic Geek McD. Thank you, Comic Geek McD, for joining us. And Double S, he says, what up to Just a Freaking Rican and his comics. Thank you guys for joining us.
No, hey, this guy said I'm cool. Yay. What's up, G-Spot Galvin? Look at this. See, this is so cool, man. I like this.
Yo, he's a cool dude, man. Get ready, because he's going to come on this show next weekend.
Oh, well, then I got to come back and watch it. Yeah, absolutely.
You have to, man. You got to subscribe. Notification bell for Robert Garvin. Notification bell for him, because he's a cool dude, man. But he rocks out late at night at 12 o'clock midnight. So he's dope, man. So actually, I want to say, Cory, great stuff what you've been doing with this book.
Well, thank you.
But I have to say, how do you like when you wake up one morning and say, I want to do my own thing? Not your own thing, but what motivated you the most? Was this like Jack Kirby or Jim Lee, or what was it?
So for me, I always loved comic books, but it never felt like it was something that I would do that I wanted to get into. Really until high school, when it's kind of backwards, honestly. I guess I'm a dummy. When comic books kind of collapsed, remember, like the balloon pops or whatever they call it.
Yeah, it was like early 90s or something.
Yeah, and so when comic books started to rebuild, when Joe Quesada did the Marvel Knights era, and they did the heavy Marvel line, and then Mark Millar is doing stuff with the Ultimates and Ultimate Spider-Man with the Authority, that kind of Warren Ellis and all those guys. When when all of a sudden comic books were about kind of anything, all of a sudden I was like, you know what, man, like you can kind of tell whatever story you want. And so there's sort of all these, it changed my perspective on comic books. Whereas growing up, I was a straight Marvel DC guy and Spider-Man and the X-Men and all that. And I still love those things, but it never dawned on me that I had like a Spider-Man story to tell or like an X-Men story to tell. So now when they're telling these stories of these just kind of anything, everything's wide open. They're coming up with these crazy Daredevil stories, and the Daredevil story where Mysterio's the villain. Like that's such a trippy story where Mysterio tricks Daredevil into thinking that baby is the Antichrist because Daredevil's Catholicism like plays with his mind. Like that's such a crazy concept. And so all of a sudden these different stories open up, and it changed my perspective, and it changed my mind on comic books as an opportunity. Even though the market was like dead and they're selling like 50,000 copies of something, I was like, I want to do it.
For sure, man. Because at that time it was just rough, and people, I mean, it's just actually personal experience. You know, it's just like I just got back into comics 2015, well, not 15, but 2005. Actually, it was 2015. That's how old I am. I wanted time travel. I'm thinking I'm Flash. I'm not Flash. But it was 2015.
Time travel's always great.
Oh, man. Imagine that. But yeah, when things happen here in the house, I want to get back into comics. And I figured, why not do it, man? I got to get back into comics. And that's what
I'm Rod.
Doing. Yo.
Comic Food 2814. Yeah, thank you for supporting them.
There it is. Let's put that up right now.
See, I should have been coming on y'all show this whole time. I didn't know. I was bugging friends and family. I should have been just hanging out with Comic Food. It's my fault.
No, man.
Okay.
Actually, Comic Food 2814, he got me deadly hands of Kung Fu. The first appearance of the White Tiger. So that's just the type of guy he is, man. He just
nice.
The community, man.
For
got the book right there. Is one of my short boxes. I want to say long box. I don't have any long boxes here, but you know,
I had too many. I had so many.
How many long boxes you got, man?
Well, when I had them before I set them up in the shop and got rid of it all, I think if I remember correctly, 1,000 was like 2 long boxes. So I think I had 12 or 13 long boxes before I started breaking everything down and going through everything. Like I had, crazy. I mean, it was 20 plus years of buying comic books.
Yeah, and those hold a lot. So
yeah,
that is a lot.
It was a lot. It was a mess, but it was great. It was so much fun. I mean, anytime you get the opportunity to work for yourself, it's a fun opportunity. And then when you get to do it and something you love, obviously that's when it's worth it.
Oh, absolutely. Right. I mean, I'm sure that's a very gratifying feeling. Like when you create something like this comic book and it like actually gets published and people are able to like purchase it and read it. And you're like, that's something that I did. That's gotta be a pretty cool feeling.
It really is. It really is. And it's kind of it's definitely kind of reminds you like it's easy to get to where you're like, okay, well, it just is what it is. And we're just going to keep doing what we're doing and this is an easy way to kind of, well, not easy way. It took a lot of work, but it's a good way to remind yourself that like, look, man, anytime you want to, you can go out and do something and make a change and be positive. I always talk about on Earthquake Radio how we live in this golden era of entertainment and opportunity where like this show right here, man, like you couldn't do this 10 years ago, and not because somebody would have stopped you, but just because access wasn't there.
Exactly. Like, I mean, like when I was in high school, you know, I graduated, we'll say 2002. When I was in high school, when I was in high school, like I never ever would have imagined, like we were just getting into the internet age. It was there, but like something like this was not like a thought, you know, like I never thought I'd be able to communicate with broads in Florida. Where are you?
I'm down here in Spring, Texas.
Yeah, in Texas. I'm in California. Like, I mean, like 20 years ago, we would have all had to be in the same exact location, pretty much. You know?
Oh yeah.
So, like
think about O2. Like the phone dial-up is still going off. Like it's like.
Yeah.
Like you had AOL.
Yeah.
Yeah, the discs were still going around.
Yes, it was crazy, but this has been good. Like, I mean, I feel like it's created a community. All of
For
that
sure.
in order.
I definitely think.
That's cool.
I think most industries. There's a weird. I think everything shrank, but everybody got more specifically what they want. Like Netflix doesn't have anywhere near as many viewers as like primetime television used to, right? So like when they say a Super Bowl gets like 20 million viewers, almost nothing gets 20 million viewers anymore, like on TV. But everyone gets like specifically what they want to enjoy.
Right.
So like one show might only have 2 million viewers, but it's 2 million people who are tuning in for every episode.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like it's just like that. It's like Sling TV or whatever. Now you can order instead of having to pay for these packages and you want HBO, you have to pay $100 or more a month for this. It's like, no, I want like 4 channels and HBO. You can pick what you want, and I think that it's people are just able to connect, and like you said, it's just about getting what you want, right?
It really is, and I think that's kind of the thing that's helped it out. Oh, my dog's in the shot there. Yeah, she's
Hey,
all
right.
That's so cool. Dog lover.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Roxy. She's a pit bull. She's looking for someone to get her attention right now. She keeps trying to hand me the ball. I'm like, I can't play.
Nice.
My dog's over there. She's just a little Chiweenie. So she's just eyeballing me like.
I was a little dog guy forever, and recently I was like, man, I really want to get a big dog, and so my roommate got one, and so technically it's hers, but man, she's cool. I like big dogs.
Yeah, no, me too. I got 2 pit bulls also. They're cool dogs.
Nice.
Holy crap, Jeffrey! You never told me that.
Well, yeah, I had 5 at one time. So.
You better notify him when he comes by, otherwise those pit bulls are coming for you.
Man.
My dog, it barks loud, but I actually don't know if somebody came in the door that it would even do anything.
My dogs are so old. Yeah, they just sleep. They lay on the couch. They got their own couches. They just lay on the couch and sleep. Yeah.
All right. Any new faces in the chat, Jeffrey? Can you tell me right now?
I think I need to answer a question. I think somebody asked if I've done other books.
Yes, that was Robert Galvin. He asked if you had worked on anything else. And Mad Mike's Comics. Good to see you, Mad Mike.
I have not worked on anything else, but I've got more stuff that I want to do, and so we're working. The artist is finishing up the 2nd issue of Another Day at the Office, so there will be more of that. And I'm hoping to do more stuff. That's the goal.
For sure.
Awesome. Guys, what you gotta do right now, if you're not following my homie Cory, all you gotta do is on the description is below. All you gotta is click the link. And not only that, man, thank you for everyone for hanging out with us tonight. Coast to Coast Comics. But Another Day at the Office is right now on INDYPLANET.com. Search for it. And you could buy it right there.
Yeah.
So, that's
the cool thing about Indie Planet. I was like, I'll put it on Comixology. Comixology, they take about 6 months to approve something. And I was like, that is a really long time to do something. And so I started looking for other options, and Indie Planet I found, and essentially it takes them a few weeks to put it through the process, but once it's ready, you can buy either a print copy or a digital copy. So they will literally print you 1 copy of this book. And it's only $3.99 for the print copy and $3.49 for the digital. I think where they kind of make their money is on the shipping side. Because I think to ship an individual book, the total was still like $9 or $10. So $3.99 for the book and then like $6 to ship it. But it's a cool option because some people like having the floppy, and then just if you got a tablet, that's how you do. A lot of people have moved over to digital now. That's an option for them. Yeah,
no, for sure. And then I know like some people do both. There's people who they buy the physical copy and they don't read it, and they read it online because they don't want so like whatever it is, whether you're digital or hard, you want the physical copy, like it's there for you.
And that's what I liked about Indie Planet. I know there's some other websites that offer similar options. I might explore those down the road, but right now I'm happy with Indie Planet and the process that I went through to get it on there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
All right, sweet man, sweet. So let's see here. I was just thinking here. So
What are you thinking, Rod?
Uh-oh. Is this good? Is it bad? It looks
well,
dangerous.
I'm trying to figure. I'm trying to like pick his mind right now.
Okay. All right. It's
Trying to-
pretty empty in here, so
Let me ask him a question, and you can think longer.
All right, I'll take. Thank you. On the old fart here, I'll take longer for
Okay.
that.
So, like, when you go to create, as a creator, what is it that you like really try to draw your influence? Like, like maybe you're having a brain freeze. You can't think. You're trying to get into the mood to create. What is it that you
Yeah,
do? Is there
that's
anything that you do to try to get some block or? Sorry,
that's a good question. So no, you're fine. You're fine. I'll say this first. I'm a believer in this as a writer that I think I remember hearing like in my college 101 class that like there's only like 5 original types of stories. And everything else is just a variation or a version of that. I think it's like revenge or love and they break them down. And so I don't have a problem saying that a lot of times I'll see something somewhere that inspires me. And so it'll be a moment like maybe at a TV show or a movie or a song or something where it'll kind of immediately create something in my head where I'm like, man, it would be cool to see this in something. And so I'll kind of steal that and kind of file it away somewhere in here. And then later I'll find moments where it comes out. I mean, it doesn't come out necessarily the same way, but it is the inspiration for a lot of the different things. So like I have ideas for something and it'll be like, okay, so like I saw the movie Abyss one time a million years ago, right? James Cameron, crazy movie, love it. And I was thinking like from then on, like I want to do something like in like underneath in the ocean. And so like there are a lot of the visuals that were just kind of really cool about like they're always in this really tight quarters and they're very confined. And it's like it inspires concepts where then sometimes other ideas meet it and you kind of, oh, you know what, this is a good idea. And then you put it with something else. And then that's kind of sometimes how it works too.
Right, because I mean, not that I'm a writer or anything, but like I sat down and had ideas and thought about like trying to write some things here, like comic book style and things like that. But it's always like, well, you need something original. Like, what can I do that's original? And it's always like such a hard thing sometimes just to get started because you're looking for something that is original, and sometimes
so this sounds backwards, but I would say to anyone who like struggles with that, I would say you don't have to. There was a movie where Sean Connery plays a writer who like locks himself in his apartment, and this kid plays basketball in the inner city, and they kind of cross paths. And there's a writer like in the heart of the black guy, and he has all these journals that he writes everything down in. And Sean Connery gets a hold of the journals and like leaves notes, and they start helping each other. Like the kid encourages him. Busta Rhymes is in it. It's a really weird movie. If you got IMDb, Sean Connery, Busta Rhymes, it's got to be the only 2 movies these guys overlap on.
Right.
Oh, why that sounds so familiar?
Finding Forrester, I think, is the name of it.
Okay.
And so, in the middle of it, Forrester is the name of the kid, obviously, and he struggles with writer's block. And Sean Connery hands him an old article that he had published in a magazine, and he says, "Hey, just type these words until you find your own." And so, like the first paragraph is him just retyping Sean Connery's piece. And then he kind of finds his own message that he wants to tell from it. And then he goes off on his own thing. And so I always thought it was really good advice because sometimes just getting the juices flowing, just getting the pieces moving. Like, let's say as a brain exercise, you're like, man, I really want to tell a story, but I don't know. Like, I'm struggling. Start it out with someone else's character. Start out with Wolverine or Batman. And then as your story grows, like, this is a cool thing that I can use. This is something I can like. Then you go back and you make it fit back into your world.
Your character.
Exactly.
Right. That's pretty cool. Yeah, because I mean, I've talked with other people, and I know people that sit down and they try to write, and it would be a good tip, I'm sure, for anybody, because usually that's one of the hardest things is to come up with an idea and get yourself going. I feel like
that and music. Like, if you're in a weird, like if you're not happy with the mood you're in, put on like opposite music, and it'll get you there. Like, if you're down and out, then just up in energy, and it changes your perspective quickly.
No, that is great advice right there, and I think that is 100% accurate because I used to listen to a lot of music, and like driving when I was driving, and I noticed that like when I'd be listening to music, like I'd get all age or something like that, and then you listen to some crazy hardcore music. So I started listening to like AM radio. I'm a big sports fan, so now I pretty much listen to AM radio all the time when I'm driving, and I can't tell you how much more calm and relaxed I am when I'm driving down the road. It's insane. Like
that could be dangerous too, Jeffrey, man.
No, it can. That's why
people calling in. I can't stand this loss today. That's why at times at work.
Sounds like a Phillies fan.
Whoa, exactly.
Yeah.
But you know what? You gotta have fun with that too. If they're calling in mad, at least they care.
Yeah, right. I know. Hey, good to see you, Downright Nerdy Podcast. Thank you for joining us. Hydra Comics. Thank you guys. Good to see you this afternoon.
Hydra Comics. Is Captain America on there?
Yes.
He's a cool homie, man. He's a cool homie.
If you guys are just if you guys are just joining us, we have Cory DLG. INDYPLANET has just put his book up on there. Another Day at the Office. The link is in the description. I posted it in the chat as well. It's a story about a detective, and there are superheroes in it, but they are not the main focus in this issue. The focus is the detective and his point of view from the world of a cop in a city full of superheroes. So it's interesting read.
Comedy. It's not heavy. It's not heavy. Everybody
no, it's not. It's the comedy is real in there, and
I like the part. I really like the part. I'm sorry, Jeffrey. I had to mention. But the booze, cool. You get the black eye.
Yeah,
that part, I had to go back a few times. I was like, chick walks in, bam. I was like, whoa. I was like, all right, I like that. A little humor in it too.
It's a little twist on the. There's like a famous essay that some guy wrote where it was like Superman and Lois Lane can never have a baby together, and it talked about like all the different issues that would happen because of the Superman superpowers and all that. And it's the funny, like the flip of that. Like, okay, well, what if she's the Man of Steel and he's not? Like, now what? And so he gets a black eye, and they're teasing him because they act like it's from her boob, and he's like, "That's not what happened."
It was funny because at the cop car, he's like, "So, what are real? What are fake?" I was like, "What the heck is this, man?" It's a lot of fun. It really is a free, guys, man.
It is. If I were gonna try to give a quick what do you say? Like not a review of it, but like try to give you
throw it out
an oversight of what it's about. This issue specifically is the day when you get to work and something's broken, you go home, something's broken, you got to fix this, and you just sit down at the end of the day and you're just like, F my life. Today was just a bad day. It just sucked. I'm ready for the day to be over with. Can't wait for tomorrow to be here. That's what this issue is about.
I was dangerously close to making FML my title. I really put some thought to that.
At the end of that issue, that's exactly what I thought. I go, this guy had a total FML day today for sure.
You know what? It's going on the scale, man. We're going live right now. Hey, Cory, you don't know about the ranking scale? The ranking scale is where I get a bunch of books, man. Okay. I rank them on art. I rank them on story. And you know what? That book right now, Another Day at the Office. You can find that. The description below. I'm going to rank it right now on the ranking scale.
I'm ready. I'm excited.
3 for the story. 3 for the art. It's a 6, man. It's a 6.
I'll take it.
I give it a 6, man. And it's a lot of fun, guys.
Clearly, it's on a scale of 1 to 6, right? Like, that's the tops that I get.
It's 6 out of 10.
Oh, to 10? Oh, I don't want that then. No, I'll take a 10 then. No, I'm kidding. Thank you. I know. I appreciate it, man.
It's hardcore, man. It's hardcore being real.
No, you have to. So I do a lot of freelance writing as part of kind of the radio thing, and just I don't want a real job, so I take as many side jobs as I can. So for cyberpunks.com, I do some freelance writing, and I did a review of a book one time for a guy, and I showed it to him at the same time I turned it in. I wanted him to see what I said before it published. But I wasn't going to change anything. But fortunately, he was cool with it. But yeah, you got to be honest with people. So, no, I'll take the 6, man. I love it.
Well,
Gives me something to work on.
It is a great book. It's a lot of fun to read. And actually, people, if they want to read an indie book right now, this is a place to be, man. Go out there and check out the website, description below. And actually, Jeffrey put it out there right now. All you gotta do is click the link and check it out, man. It's a fun read, man. I really dig it.
Thank you.
I like the guy. It's hanging out on top of the lights, the traffic lights at the very end of the issue. Like that's where leads me with the cliffhanger. Like, what's going on, man?
It was a lot of fun to kind of tell a story about not being able to do anything. Like I told you guys off air before we got started here, when I got those contracts and those opportunities to pitch stories, one of the conditions from one of the publishers was that they wanted essentially just one issue stories. They want to kind of test a property and then kind of go from there. And so when you're a young writer, when you're 19, everything's 100-issue epic. Like, I got to tell the whole story of everything. And so it was sort of frustrating a little bit to try. And I felt like I couldn't do anything. So I didn't know how to come up with an idea for it. So then I wound up coming up with the idea of telling the story of somebody who can't do anything that day. And so, yeah, it's a frustrating and funny story. And he gets to the end of the day and everything's been done for him. And it's the classic FML day for sure.
I mean, I read the artwork.
I'm going to steal that. I'm going to steal that FML thing. I'm going to use that.
Hashtag FML. But I'm looking through the art right now. Like there's a part where, I mean, it looks like a sketch. I wish I could pull it up on another screen, but it's like people sitting in a diner. It's all sketch work.
Oh,
that's pretty dope, man! I like that part a lot.
So I made a conscious effort.
Are you talking about looking through the window?
Yeah, in the window, right?
Yes, through the window. It's
okay.
It's all sketch work. It's pretty
dope. I made a conscious decision. It was one part budget, and it was one part I did something I kind of wanted to try because it was a funny book. Because I didn't want it to be serious. We didn't ink it, and so when I went to the penciler, I told him my idea. I said I kind of want to do this really, really. I need your pencils to be really finished, really sharp. Sometimes when you see sketch work or you see pencils turned in from pencilers, they'll leave a little bit of freedom to the inker and the colorist to be kind of part of the process.
Can I show that to? Can I?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Let me see if I can do that right now, if you don't mind.
No, absolutely. And so we made a conscious decision to keep this very bright. And so I went. So then when we hired the colorist, I said, I want to make this very much, yeah. So essentially on the page, it's all finished pencils, and then they came through digitally and colored it. And one part of that, and it creates kind of the flat effect on it, where it doesn't look as 3-dimensional, but also it makes it look a little less serious. I think it was my interpretation of it. When I saw it, I said, yeah, I kind of like this. But it also makes that window plays really, really well because there's no ink to it.
I freaking love it, dude. When I was going through, I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute," because we have him here, and then I see this. I was like, "Oh crap, there she is," but she's not here. But I see it's a sketch.
Yeah, she's like sneaking up on him there. Like, no, I was really proud of this. Like, for someone's first book, I had some people. I have some good relationships with some local shops, and one of them paid me the highest compliment, where she was like, "I could put this on my shelf right now, and I wouldn't feel like I was doing you a favor." And I was like, "Wow, all right, cool." So that was a nice moment.
That's pretty dope, man. That's pretty dope. Few people in the chat. Daniel Quinn is my homie that lives right down the street from me. He loves the concept. This guy here is he loves his comic books.
What's Daniel? No, he wants to know what he ranks on.
Yeah, say that again. You broke up.
Oh, this.
I think I keep cutting out.
Oh,
Daniel wants to know what he rates on the Recon. What Daniel rates on the Recon.
Right now. So let me see if I could just.
No,
bunch
he
of
gave me a 6, Daniel.
He
But,
says the Rican.
oh, where does he rank?
Oh, I kind of.
Oh,
Danny
Yeah.
ranks. He has a bunch of knowledge, and yo, don't worry. He wants me to go out tomorrow to his storage unit and hang out with him where he has all his boxes in its AC unit. But you know what? We'll leave that for tomorrow. Danny, I cannot compare your stuff to here, but you know what? Right now, it's about Cory and his indie comic book.
I think Daniel might be a serial killer. Are you sure he's going to bring you back if he takes you to a storage unit?
Probably not.
I mean, you might want to check on that before you go. You might want to find out if other people went and came back.
Well, it's live. So if I don't come back, you can always check out.
Hey Jeffrey, it sounds like there might be an opening in the Just a Rican and his comics webcast starting next week.
I got a show tomorrow, 4:00. All right, man.
I'm just saying, like, if there's an opening and someone disappears in a storage unit, I don't know. Help me out, Daniel. I don't know, man.
Oh, yo, Cory, if you was gonna do a second
I know where to go.
That's right.
where would the story go? If you want to give the people like a little how should I say, like a cliffhanger. If you want to
okay, so we just finished the art on the second issue, and so it's a different artist, and I'm about to hire a different color and letterer. The first crew, kind of after the first book, they were kind of like, okay, that was fun, bye. And I was like, all right, no problem. The next thing I want to do with it is kind of see how far I can take it. So to me, it's a comedy, but the character, the detective Marcus, is very serious. And so the comedy, though, kind of comes from how the world views him because of the superheroes. So I want to see how far I can take that. Kind of like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. They do a bit one time with Andy Samberg is singing Backstreet Boys with a bunch of guys in a lineup. And then at the end of it, the girl goes, yes, that's the man who murdered my brother. And he's like, oh, forgot about that part. And so I want to see how far we can go, but still find like the comedy and still be, light and fair, not disrespectful to, to people's concepts and things. So the next it's 3 issues, and it's a story of a slain officer, and Marcus wants to solve it. And the pressure internally from all the different, the commissioner and the chief of detectives, they want you to solve these kind of crimes fast. But the world still doesn't really have any respect for what he's trying to do, even though, they take that seriously, but everyone's still like, well, can't Batman just go do this? Like, why are you doing it? And so there's kind of I think there's still room for humor in that. And so I want to kind of go down that path and see. It's a 3-issue story, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Awesome, man. Everyone in the chat right now, if you have a question for Cory, hit him up right now with the question. Hit him up.
We got Comics with Bueller in the chat. What's up, Bueller? Good to see you today, man. Hope you're doing well. Along with Armando Christian. Thank you, guys.
All right, guys.
Bueller.
You guys have a really great setup. I just want to say that. Like, I really dig it. So Jeffrey's running the comments and all that, and then like kind of helping you stay on task. Like, I think it's a really good setup. Like I said, I come from radio, and I'm like the color guy, and then my buddy is like the showrunner. And so, like, I feel like I'm more like you. I'm more, I'm the Rican here, and then I have a Jeffrey at home. So I like it.
Oh man, yo, it's crazy when you hang out with us, man. But let's see here. I was thinking of something. So, if you had any advice for any creators out there that want to start their own comic book, like you've been doing, and stuff like that. But before that,
okay,
if someone offered you like a deal, there was Dynamite Comics or Image Comics or all the big name comics companies out there, what would you do? What would you do which one you will feel more comfortable with, where it's like, you know what, I like this company here because I have, I could escape and do other work out there too. So,
I think if I did one of the big ones, I would want to do Marvel, just because I feel like right now they're taking some really big chances and also letting creators create, and then they still come back to their kind of cohesive universe and do their like War of the Realms kind of big stuff, and then they go back to doing everyone's own thing, and then they come back to the big stuff. And so I feel like that's kind of a cool way to do it if you could catch a rhythm where you could do a little bit of work, do 3 or 4 issues of like your stuff, and then you jump into War of Realms for 2 or 3 issues, and then you jump out and you do 3 or 4 more issues kind of your stuff, and then Captain America's back with Hydra, and you do 2 or 3 issues with that. Like, I feel like that it would be like the Marvel movie universe where you could do your own stuff and then show up in the big movies and then go back to doing your own stuff again. And I feel like right now DC is purposely keeping everything separate because it seems like they're letting people like Brian Michael Bendis kind of world build his stuff, and then they're going to fit everybody back in later. Because Scott Snyder's run on Justice League is awesome, but you don't really see a lot of references to what's going on in the other stuff until this Year of the Villain stuff. But they're 30 issues in, and this is really kind of the first time they've referenced some of these other things. And so I think right now I would probably go Marvel for one of the big ones.
All right.
So what?
Go ahead, Jeff. I'm sorry.
I was going to ask: are you reading comic? Are you reading comic books right now? Do you have like a set that you're stuck to, like your pull list, or are you on?
Right now I've got House of X, Powers of X. I started pulling the Fearless book, the anthology book, right there from Marvel, and then there's a book from Image, and I'm blanking on the name of it right now. The first issue had that really cool cover with the girl with the wild red hair and the face paint. And it's kind of like Suicide Squad set in Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh,
and
Die?
No, not Die. It's the other one. It's from Skybound with Image. It's you know what? I got a computer right in front of me. I bet I can do this. Yeah, it's the.
Come on, help us out right now. Skybound comic right now. About Cory, because I haven't been brain fart too.
Reaver, that's what it's called. Reaver. It is awesome. It is great. It's Dungeons and Dragons and Suicide Squad together. So like, there's this realm, and they've had this war going on, and it's kind of like the Imperial Army who should be winning the war. They keep losing key battles and they don't know why, and so they find like a blood mage, and he tells them, well, the other guys have blood magic and they're cheating and they're looking into the future and they're predicting your moves before you do them. So they're like, oh well, we got to fix that. And so they organize this little 6-man team to go through enemy lines and go kill this other wizard. And so the characters are all crazy because they're like several of them are prisoners from other groups and camps, and if they survive this, they go free, obviously, but this is kind of their only option.
I like the chick with the teeth, and that was it, because I read the first issue. The second issue was like, it just went.
You didn't like the second issue?
No.
Okay, it was a little bit slower, although it does have that big fight scene in the beginning, but it was a little bit slower as far as like where are they going with it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm gonna give him a little bit of run, because I read some interviews from the guy where it sounds like he's got big plans. So I'm kind of curious what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of good. I haven't read the series, but most of the people, I should say, that have read it seem to enjoy it. So
first issue was awesome. I mean, there's no getting around that. They landed the first issue, just fantastic.
It was a great issue, actually. There was nothing wrong with the first issue.
No, there wasn't. And then I think the second issue, I think they could have done more, but I'm going to give them a few more just because that first issue I think bought them some credibility.
All right, well said, sir. And here we are. We at the almost the finish mark right now.
Oh,
So
I thought this was all night. Like I got a 6-pack behind me. I was ready to go. We're not going till midnight.
all you want, man. Hey, how yeah, all right. So damn. All right, let's see here. Rapid fire.
Oh no. Okay, I'm ready.
Rapid fire, man. We'll go back and forth, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, you want to go first or me, man? Jeffrey's.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you hear me? I think my internet's kind of. How about you just do it? Can you hear me?
It's all right. Rapid fire is where I'm going to hit you with 5 questions, Corey. All right, 5 questions, man. I want one answer.
Okay.
All right, one answer, man. One answer. I don't want you to think, oh man, what the heck is this? How about your favorite writer right now?
Right now, this instant,
Right
it's
now?
Jonathan Hickman.
Ooh. All right. Well said. Your favorite artist right now in comics?
Olivier Copiel, hands down, always will be my favorite artist.
All right. So he's yo. That's how you do rapid fire, guys.
I'm ready.
Comic chat. 5 questions, simple answers, man. Well, not simple answers. That you got to think about it, man. All right, get ready for this one.
Okay.
Because I always got to ask this one. Your favorite food, sir?
Pizza.
Wow. All right. Let's switch it up a little bit here. If you had to meet someone that you never met anyone in the comic book community, past or present, who would it be?
That's a good one. I'm gonna go Stan Lee.
Wow. I've never met him or you know.
I have not either.
Yeah, that'd be a good one for sure.
All right. All right. This is where it all comes down to.
Oh no. Okay, I'm ready.
Marvel or DC? All time. Well, I'm throwing everything on you right now.
I'm gonna go Marvel.
Oh, he went with the Marvel, guys. Rapid fire, Perry. Perry, where are you? You're supposed to be on the show. You're in the chat, man.
Huh.
Perry, what happened, Perry?
Lurking. He's lurking.
Yeah, he probably lurking right now.
He wanted to make sure it was a good show before he was like, let me check these guys out.
Exactly.
We'll see what's going on here.
He's saying there's only 5 people watching right now.
Yeah, he's watching out for the brand, man. He's trying to take care of it.
Yo, guys, this was epic. I so happy that you actually reached out to me on Twitter.
Yeah, I stood outside your house for like 3 days holding the boombox. I was ready. Had the Say Anything playing. I was ready to go, man.
Yeah, dope, man. And actually, let the people know right now. If I didn't mention anything, let the people know right now what's going on with Cory and your books right now.
That's right. Go to INDYPLANET.com. It's another day at the office. It's a comedy. It's a one-shot, so you don't have to know anything else when you get in there. It's a comedy about a cop in a city full of superheroes, and he's just trying to make it through his day, man. And it's a funny take on it all. It's lighthearted. I had a good time making it, and I hope you guys really enjoy it.
Yeah. Well said, sir. Well said. Let's back out of here. All right.
No, leave me full on there. I want to be just make me the giant screen.
Is there any
Yo, plug your channel, man.
No, I was kidding.
And plug the indie book and all that stuff, man.
That's right. Yeah, check out nerdthugradio.com. I sell t-shirts too. It's called Side Hustle Tees. I'll sell my plasma if someone will give me a good price, man. Like, I'm about it, man. I try to make the money so that I can keep making comic books. So
that's what it's all about, man. Because you know what? I want to sell a t-shirt, and you're going to buy a t-shirt. The link is below. I take that money. I want to save it for a new cam.
That's right.
That stuff. So
get that HD cam so they can see how pretty you are.
Well, you know, I'm turning older by the minute, but
we all are, bro.
No, I'm going the other way. This is actually the oldest I've ever looked.
That Benjamin Button.
That's right. That's the only movie I've ever walked out of, by the way. Hated that movie. The worst movie I've ever seen.
All right. So No more comments. Are you a sports fan?
I am actually. I also write for sportsmaphouston.com. Down here in Houston, it's the local sports radio station. Yeah. Okay. So I hate that we traded Clowney, but I liked the other trades that we made.
I agree. I mean, like if the defense started off a little sluggish, I feel like give us a couple games, get things going, because nobody plays preseason anymore.
No, they don't. They don't.
Like the first 4 games of the NFL season are basically preseason now. So I feel like around game 3, we get rocking and rolling, get that defense in motion with that offense. Deshaun Watson still healthy, hopefully. I feel really good, man. Watson, if he
we go as far as Deshaun Watson can take us, I think is exactly how it happens. The Clowney stuff, a lot of the people are mad at Bill O'Brien. They just don't like how he handles things. But I guess if you don't get along with your head coach, it kind of doesn't matter,
Yeah, and you know what? The thing is, I was pretty frustrated with Bill O'Brien too until they got Deshaun Watson. They looked a lot better. So I mean.
Yeah, that was the thing, right? They kept changing
only so much as a quarterback can take them, right?
Exactly. They kept having and just bad quarterbacks. I mean, we tried Case Keenum out there for 8 or 9 games. That was, and you don't live here in Houston, but in Houston they were in love with Case Keenum because of the U of H kid. So they were, oh god, the talk radio was blowing up with, we got the greatest quarterback ever, and he won 0 games. He went 0 for 9, and people were still calling in when we cut him. They were like, why'd they get rid of Case Keenum? And people were like, because he never won.
Yeah, no, man.
But that guy's still in the league. He's been on 3 other teams now.
He's starting for Washington right now.
Yeah, he is for sure.
I made the comment that he has the best agent manager in the world to keep getting him contracts to these teams because he was in Minnesota, got 4 guys hurt in front of him, and so then he winds up playing again, and now he went to Denver. He got paid by Denver.
Went to Washington, now he's getting paid by them. So yeah, he's had a pretty darn good career. That's
terrible.
Rich for life, guys.
Yeah.
That's true. Yes. Why are you a Texans fan? You're out there.
Okay. I live in California. I live in Fresno, California.
Okay.
In the year 2002. Okay, I grew up a Houston Oilers fan, right? So
okay.
Houston Oilers, the early 90s, late 80s become no more. And then I'm just kind of floating around like, who do I follow? I kind of like the St. Louis Rams. In 2002, the Houston Texans pop up. I'm like, all right, that's cool. First overall pick, David Carr, quarterback, Fresno State.
That's right.
From Fresno, Fresno, California. So it was like a homer move. So I started following him then because of David Carr. And
his debut game, he beats the Dallas Cowboys, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, and so
thing about David Carr.
Yeah, and just been a Houston fan ever since then. I'm not one of those guys to pick a team and jump around all the time. So Houston here.
And at the time, y'all didn't really have. Well, I don't know where Fresno is in relation, but California, the teams were kind of really spread out. So
I'm right in the middle of us. I'm about 4 hours south of San Francisco and about 4 hours north of Los Angeles. So
okay, yeah, that's awesome, man. Well. See, this was already great for a bunch of different reasons then.
Right? I mean, we got the best wide receiver in the league, Deshaun Watson.
Oh, God.
Antonio Brown?
I think if enough teams quit on you, you're no longer the best at anything. I think that's generally a rule. If teams are willing to if the Raiders are willing to just fire you, it's no longer you're no longer the best at.
Think about it, it was like 2 teams in less than 2 games because it was the last game of the season with Pittsburgh last year. He quit on them, and then they cut him before the season even started with the Raiders. They cut him, so here he is, week 2, and it's on his 3rd team. So,
and you know what? The whole journey is really crazy because he bailed on a walkthrough, which, tangentially, I've got some friends that are professional athletes, and they'll flat out tell you, you don't miss organized team activities. It just doesn't happen. The whole organization is built around the one thing you're there to do is play the games. So you don't miss walkthroughs. You don't miss meetings. Showing up late, when you hear about these guys getting fined and stuff, by the time it makes it to the public, they've shown up late 3 or 4 times, and internally they've already been talked to by everyone that matters. And they've given up on them following the rule. It's never, they don't find some guy $15,000 for showing up late one time.
It's your job. Go to work.
Exactly.
No, they think because they're superstars that I can do whatever the hell I want.
Well, I don't think it's that. Although I think it's easy to feel that way. I think it's they've never had a real job. A lot of these people from high school, they've been kind of treated differently. So they go to college where again they're treated differently. If you look at how these the sports facilities, the athletic facilities look at these universities, they've never seen. I mean, they grow up poor, most of them, but they've never seen poverty outside of where they grow up. So they grow up poor, then they go to these places where they're just handled differently the rest of their life. Like they don't know how much electricity costs. They don't know how much bills are. They don't know the real cost of living. And so they don't have concepts for that stuff. And so
some of them just show up and play football. They don't even go to class.
So Antonio Brown, literally, he's mentioned a couple of times in different tweets and stuff. He's like, or I heard him saying during the Hard Knocks, actually, when he was talking to John Gruden. John Gruden's like, just take care of football. And he was like, yeah, I got a lot going on. I got a lot to take care of. And what he's talking about is like the whole group of people who wind up relying on him because of his football. And like, he doesn't know any better because they're the people who handle everything for him. And that's how that's what happens to most of these athletes is the family and the agents and the coaches. They take care of everything. So they don't have a concept. So when we're like, your life is so easy, but
and you know what? Like I feel like that's an issue that money management is an issue. I feel like in America alone, like, cause I wasn't ever taught money management in school. And I really wish that I would have been, so I would have had a better concept of what to expect in life. I don't know if they do that now, or maybe some schools do, but I really think, like, especially even for athletes, like, because they don't. I mean, I'm not an athlete. I don't have lots of money, but money management class would have probably helped me out a lot in life. I feel like
absolutely. Well, I've had to show so many of my friends like how to write rent checks and stuff when we were living together back in the day, growing up, like, because nobody teaches you that stuff. And so, yeah, man, it's you got to learn these things. And so these guys, they don't. 80% of athletes wind up broke or something like that when they're done with the sports. And I think a lot of it is because they have no concept of
what to do. Yeah,
they retire early, and it's because I'm in pain and I'm not happy. But I've got $40 million in the bank, and I'm a little in touch with the real world, and I know how much it costs to live, and I know this $40 million can last me forever. And, I think if more people realized if they were better with their money, I think you would see more athletes leave early.
I agree. And that's the thing. I think the NFL should take part in that, like, especially with like young rookies, because I know that they have certain things that they do for rookies coming into the league. That should be a thing. You get drafted once you sign a club.
But
Andrew Luck just retired. So it was like, I'm rich. You know what? Bye. So my neck hurts. Okay, I can't do this anymore.
Well, I'll say this: I had a really bad car accident about 3 years ago, and I spent 3 months in the hospital. Bedridden because I had a broken hip, pelvis. I've
been through it too, man.
So much stuff. There's metal in me and all that, and it took a long time to get back on my feet. And I can tell you, when you're going through the rehabilitation process, it's very mental and it's very draining. And you want to be as positive as possible, but if someone came to you and said, "Yeah, you can keep playing football, but you're going to be rehabbing all year long," I can promise you, even for $20 million in the back of his head, he was like, that sounds terrible. And like,
yeah, I didn't think about it that way. It's like waking up every day doing rehab. So it's like, you know what? Retire. I just be like relaxing at the house and have my nurses come.
Take care of me. Tell you what, man, rehab is such a weird thing because you kick your butt and you're exhausted, but you're like, you lifted your foot 12 times, right? But like your whole body just hurts and you're just trying to like get everything moving again. And the nurses and stuff, they're not mean about it, but they also don't have sympathy because this is what they do every day. And they know if you lay around that you're not going to get any better. So they push you all the time. So like everyone, like pushing is good, but at the time when you're going through it, everyone's pushing you. And so you're like, okay, like leave me alone. Like just stop. and you get frustrated. It's a hard rehabilitation is not an easy thing to do physically, and so
rehab for a year to come back out and get hit again and not know, maybe your body just falls apart the first time you get hit again, or like with the concussions and the brain problems that going on. Guys back in the day, they weren't thinking, hey, 10 years from now I'm going to be having dementia. They didn't know that. And now that guys do, they don't want to spend the rest of their life
and also
dementia.
Andrew Luck has had some crazy severe injuries. A lacerated kidney. I could think
one spend more time as healthy,
just about. And I can think of only one other person who had a internal organ injury in the NFL, and that was Chris Sims. It's so rare, and so for him to literally have missed games because of a lacerated kidney or liver, whichever one it was, that's insane. He got hit so hard his inside ripped.
I just had a brain for McNabb had like a freaking broken ankle, and he was throwing touchdowns, but still played the entire game. I think he threw like maybe 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Byron Leftwich, famously, when he was still playing for Marshall, played a game on a broken ankle. The linemen were carrying him to and from the huddle. But that's crazy stuff.
But I guess you get that energy from the crowd, and
for sure. I'm sure there's an element of that,
all that stuff. And then you go back in the locker room, and you're like, "Holy crap! My ankle is like 10 times the size." And you know what? The 10 size is this book that's dropping right now. Go to INDYPLANET.com right now and check out Cory, man. Check out Cory's book. What is it?
Another Day at the Office.
There it is. Another Day at the Office, man. If you like superheroes, a cop like this hanging out, man. Look at this cop, man. He's dope, man. And then you want to see some sketch work. That's the part I love the most. That sketch work.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. It was one part we're broke, so we didn't hire an inker, and it was one part I really wanted to kind of make this visually stand out and just not be so dark. And so it's all well lit and bright, and I was happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of people on the community that love sketch work, man. I'm telling you. So I seen it right away, and I was like, man. And don't be surprised. People may take this and go online and just do like an ink over, and they do stuff like that. So
hey, I'm not gonna be mad, man. Put a link on it. I'm all right with that.
JRortiz.com, well, not .com, but JRortiz does stuff like that. He'll go online and he'll find sketches like this, and he'll just was he
coloring them digitally?
Yeah, it is so dope what he does. JRortiz.
That's
so
cool.
Actually, what I should do is I'll send you his info, and you guys can talk, man, because he loves doing stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
So with that being said, let's take this off the screen, and we'll leave a few minutes for Cory here. Cory, take it away.
All right. Well, first, I want to thank everybody for coming today and hanging out with us. Obviously, I want to thank Coast to Coast Comics and all of this. This is cool, man. Arikan and his comics, and Jeff, I want to thank you guys. And then check out INDYPLANET.com, Another Day at the Office. It's my debut comic book. It's a comedy. It's about a cop in a city full of superheroes, and he just wants to go out there and do his thing. And just it's a fun little story. It's a one shot. You don't have to get too invested into it. We're working on some issues. We're gonna have issues 2 through 4 hopefully come out. Some are probably starting in December. But yeah, man, thanks for listening. Check out nerdthugradio.com if you want to kind of listen to me drive you crazy anytime. And thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right. Let's go back to here. Let's remove this.
I gotta tell you, you got a really cool setup. I like this thing. This is neat.
Well, it's simple. All you gotta use is StreamYard.com, and that's what I use. So,
well, I guess I'm gonna have to try it.
Brother. Hey Jeffrey, what you got going on tomorrow? I know you taking over a show for Hobby a Conquistador. So let's
I'm taking over a show for Hobby?
Well, that's what
Did you just find out you got the closing shift and you were like,
right?
Yeah, man, I have plans.
Comic Books NYC.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm not saying nothing.
No, well, maybe I forgot. You never know. Tomorrow, me and Comic Books NYC are gonna do a stream on his channel about New York KomiKHAN. I've just been doing that. Really, that's about it. I don't know what else I got going on until next week.
Oh shit! Sorry.
What?
I'm sorry.
man.
I didn't mean to do that.
You got cut. You see what happened? You told him you weren't going to do that show. He cut you.
Yeah.
No, that I pressed the wrong button. Sorry, Jeffrey.
That's cool, man. That's about it.
You want timeout? Actually, we
You muted him like around the horn.
Yes, I love that show. I love that show so much. I did get a new book though, Spider-Man $2.99.
Oh,
First appearance of Venom.
Nice.
You got something to open?
I do, but I didn't know if you forgot. I forgot to bring it in. All right, 1 second.
He had something to open.
Uh-oh. Did you send him a pipe bomb? Is that what's about to happen?
It'd probably be a pipe bomb or some anthrax or but
Man, the ratings on this show are about to go through the roof. I'm glad I came.
It's gonna go off the roofs right now, man. Cory gets crazy, man. After the hour mark, it gets crazy.
I like it.
Jeffrey's been my homie since day one.
Got a package from Rod the Rican. I was saving it for this, but I didn't know if we were gonna have time or not.
I got
all night, man. We're staying till midnight.
It's just a bunch of books. He's a Hulk fan, so
that's right.
Nice.
Let's put this all on Jeffrey right now.
What's up, guys? How's it going? And we got a package to open up right here.
You're a good homie, dude, and I appreciate everything what you've been doing, man. And we're gonna hit that hour, not the hour, but the year mark. And yo, you just been there since day one, and I appreciate everything you've been.
It's been a good year, man.
Day one, man.
That's for sure.
My packing sucks, but you know what?
Oh, dude, like I've seen
on it.
a lot worse. There's like in a Gemini and everything, so that's nice. Okay, you guys want to see?
I'm ready.
Yeah, we got some Incredible Hulk number 82. That's a great one. We got Incredible Hulk number 383 with Speed Freak. This guy right here is Speed Freak. He doesn't really have any superpowers. He has this suit on and he does like meth. And that's what his superpower is, being fast from taking a bunch of meth. Incredible Hulk, issue number 230. Oh, that's a nice one, Rod. That's me. You see, that's me right there holding the tractor up over his head.
That's a good cover.
Oh wow, Hulk and Spider-Woman. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I've seen this one. You punk! I saw what you did, Rod. Look at this.
Yeah. I get you one way or the other.
I know, man. No. Okay, this I haven't seen either. Marvel team up: Spider-Man and Hulk, Power Man, the Son of Satan. That's cool.
What? Yeah.
Oh wow, I don't even know what this one is, but it looks cool. Guardians of Nowhere. Meet the Destroyer of the Destroyer, Yotot. Cool.
What?
It's a nice ring.
Is that from the Battle Worlds?
Looks like you got Drax the Destroyer down here.
Yeah, beaten.
I'll check that out. Thank you, Rod. That's awesome, man. I love that Incredible Hulk.
I like it. That's funny. That's cool.
I try to do a little something.
So if I show up enough times, do I get a gift too? Is that how that works?
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Philly. I'm a Giants fan, so we got a bit of rivalry there. I'll put that somewhere. I'll figure it out.
I'm gonna put everybody back on the panel here. Let's see.
That's cool, man. You're clicking around. That's cool.
All right, guys. Yo, I'm happy Jeffrey got the book safe and sound.
Thank you.
All right, so that's my token of appreciation, brother. That's what you make me do. I always look out for you, brother. But not only that, Cory, man, INDYPLANET.com, man. All you gotta do, if you want to see a dope book, the dope book is right here. There it is.
Look at that. It's a good looking
Yeah.
book.
All you gotta do is go to INDYPLANET.com. And actually, there was something. I think INDYPLANET.com is based in Orlando, Florida.
They are Florida based. Yes. Yes.
So I just was thinking about that. I was like, wait a minute, they are based in Orlando, Florida. So feel free, guys. All you gotta do, man, is click that link in the description below. And if you like what you see right now, that's all you gotta do, man. If not, then you know what? Just move forward and go search out for other books out there. But there's plenty of content for the community. As always, man, we got Jeffrey KomiKHAN Henson, the Hulk Master, the Hulk Bible, as what I call him. And we have Cory, the man from Indie Planet. He's got his book out there right now. Cory, you got anything else you want to say to the community right now?
Nah, man, I appreciate you guys giving me the time. I had fun with everybody. I think my buddy already left who said I was cool. So now I'm just not cool anymore. But that's all right. I'll take it.
All right. Yo, this is Coast to Coast Comics. Not only that, yo, the place to be is every Saturday, 8 o'clock. Yo, we're going to go strong. We're going to go strong. We're going to hit 30. We're going to hit 100. Yo, this is the original 8 o'clock spot for you, prime time. So with that being said, thank you for hanging out Coast to Coast Comics. I'm your boy, Rod the Rican. And as always, Jeffrey KomiKHAN Henson is with us every night. Thank you, Cory, for being the special guest. And I hope that another day at the office, I want to see issue 2, man.
It's coming. It's coming. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate your time today.
Oh, no, thank you for coming along with us.
With that being said, don't do anything I wouldn't do. Bye. Hey, stay there, guys.